Hey guys, and welcome back to the next off-season review. Today, as we are doing alphabetical order, we are doing the Boston Celtics. Yet again, we will be doing the scale of F to A, and the Boston Celtics off-season was a little bit under the radar, especially compared to some other moves made around the NBA this season. But let's look at the players who they lost and kept. First of all, they lost Shane Larkin and Greg Monroe to free agency. Shane Larkin and Greg Monroe, they don't have the salary cap to offer them much. Greg Monroe was signed with the $5 million cap exception that they got when Gordon Hayward got injured. So that was a good one-time fit, but Greg Monroe is going to move somewhere else and get a lot more money. Same as Shane Larkin. He really proved himself to be a pretty good defensive guard coming off the bench. So he's probably going to go somewhere and get paid as well. The players that they kept, they signed Jabari Bird to an NBA contract for this upcoming season, which will be pretty nice. He looked pretty good in his minutes with Boston this past season. And the big guy, which we're going to talk about right now, is the Marcus Smart deal. Marcus Smart was the biggest priority for the Boston Celtics this offseason. His contract was coming up, and then Boston had to decide how much money to give him and how much to allocate to Marcus Morris, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, and the next upcoming years. They ended up getting Marcus Smart on a 4-year, $52 million deal, starting out with about 11 this upcoming season, working its way up by $1 million each year after that to about $14 million in 2021. Marcus Smart, he's not a great shooter, not a great playmaker, but as everybody knows, he is the glue guy. He makes every single play that you need him to make at the right time. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, in my opinion. Extremely physical, can guard multiple positions, 1s, 2s, 3s, some 4s possibly. He is a fantastic defender and is very, very clutch. He hits shots when he needs to, and every single play in the last 2.5 minutes, you can expect Marcus Smart to affect that play really in a positive way for Boston. Boston actually held him on a cap hold, and they wanted to see, just with some other free agents, who offers Marcus Smart a deal. Would they have to match of deals such as the Bulls did with Zach LaVine? Did they have to offer him $20 million to keep him instead of him signing somewhere else and getting that paycheck? But apparently Marcus Smart barely got any. I don't think he got a single other offer than what this deal was from Boston. So this really gave Danny Ainge a lot of leverage in this deal. Marcus Smart was not getting any major offers from anybody else. He's already in Boston. He already loves the culture in Boston. And Danny Ainge was able to really get a good deal, lock him in for a long time at an amount where it is a little bit more than I expected, but it still allows Boston to be pretty flexible with their cap space. Now moving on to the other major move of this Celtics offseason. There wasn't a lot of them, but Marcus Smart and then the drafting of Robert Williams. Boston only had one pick in this entire draft, which I was pretty surprised. I thought Danny Ainge would maneuver to get at least one more pick in this loaded draft, but with the 27th pick, he did not miss out. He got Robert Williams out of Texas A&M. He's a big man, pretty big, pretty strong, fantastic shot blocker, defender, rebounder, and can finish the lobs in traffic when he needs to. And this really is a steal. I put this in my top 3 steals video, so be sure to check that out. But Robert Williams, he came back to Texas A&M for his second year and sort of took a bit of a dip. He came back after a very good freshman year. If he went in the draft after his freshman year, he probably would have been a top 10 pick in that draft. But coming into this second season with Texas A&M, he took a bit of that dip. His work ethic seemed to come into question, which is never a good sign for any prospect. And that seems to be why he slipped all the way down to the 27th pick. Also, Texas A&M, the team that he was on, did not nearly have as much success as they did last season, so that sort of helped to that decline. But Boston definitely got a steal, in my opinion, on this pick. Robert Williams, at his best, is a shot blocker, defensive rebounder, and overall athlete. Brad Stevens has been known to get more out of players than anybody else in the league has, so I'm sure that Robert Williams and his work ethic problem will be sorted out with no problem as soon as he gets into games with the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams can fill the void that they have as a rim protecting center who can control the glass, and that's really the big problem that Boston had last season. They didn't have a shot blocker inside, they didn't have a defensive anchor in the middle to deal with people like Joel Embiid. So I think Robert Williams can really help out the Boston Celtics in that facet. His offensive game does need some work. He's a pretty good lob finisher, but is really not very skilled around the basket. He has one or two hook shots, a little jump shot, but really needs the ball passed to him in a position where he can dunk it. He's a good lob finisher, but he is nowhere near a post-up player anywhere outside, probably about 6 to 8 feet from the basket. But looking back at this Boston offseason, I think they did pretty well, being they really went under the radar with all these other moves. You lose Greg Monroe and Shane Larkin, two players that helped you out during the season, especially Shane Larkin on the defensive end. But you're able to re-sign Marcus Smart to a deal that's somewhat manageable compared to the rest of the contracts you have on the books. And you're able to draft a position player that would have been a top 10 pick last year, no injury concerns, but if you can work on him for 2 years, there's no reason to rush Robert Williams. He can turn into a defensive monster for you on that end of the floor. So looking at this offseason, I'm probably going in the C plus B minus range, and I'm probably going to put them on the higher end of that. So I'm going to give this Boston Celtics offseason a B plus for the fact that they were able to steal Robert Williams in that late first round. But guys, let me know what you thought of the Boston offseason. Give me your grade in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. More Jazz My GM and offseason reviews to come. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.